But give this an let's actually push this all the way out until about I-77 just to give that early heads up. So we're going to be looking at Denver there by 316. Lewis, you're looking at around 321. We could see some impacts from this area of rotation. Now, Jason, looking at velocity right now, doesn't look as tight of rotation as what we had even just a couple of minutes ago when the National Weather Service initially issued this warning. However, still something that we're going to want to take very seriously, especially if we do end up seeing a tornado. Today, we can see not only damaging wind gusts, some flash flooding, but brief tornado is also a possibility. I'm going to toss things over to you, Jason.
Yeah, and just taking a look at what we have once again, just to go over what we have with this tornado warning. Again, that does include Chester and York County until 3:30. It's moving off to the northeast. Looks like the latest update is going to be until it's moving off to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So it's on a path that will take it a little bit more over the southeast corner of York County, more along I-77 here as we continue into the next 15 minutes, eventually working its way more towards Union County and more toward Mecklenburg County. So here's our tornado warning again until 3:30 for Chester and York County. Is radar indicated where we have seen that rotation. And as we put on a track here for you as far as the arrival times where this will be moving through, this will be moving through areas like Rock Hill and TKK here as we approach the 4 o'clock hour. So in about the next hour, these are the areas that it will be headed toward. Indian Land as we approach around 4:20, Weddington around 4:30, Matthews around 4:45, Monroe around 4:55. Again, that's if it stays on the ground with enough rotation, but it's that same little area where we're seeing some brief rotation. So what we've had today is just a cluster of storms moving through. We've had a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning as well, and there's enough spin in the atmosphere. What we're seeing is these quick spin-up tornadoes. So again, if you live here in the Chester community, this is where you need to seek shelter immediately just because you have that quick spin-up tornado that's right over you. So we'll zoom in closer to that area we're talking about. Again, Lowry's, the Chester area, really just north of Chester is where we're seeing some of that area. So I'm zooming in a little bit closer, and some of the areas that I'm kind of concerned about this will eventually work over is Hawthorne Christian Academy. That's really close to South Carolina 9 on the west side of Chester. York Road School, that's on the north side of Chester, and then Chester Middle School as well as the School of the Arts, that's on South Carolina 9 as well, a little bit more on the east side of town. Again, that's the same area where we're seeing, again, that tornado warning. So those are some of the areas we'll have to keep a close watch on. So let's zoom in even closer to where we're seeing some of that rotation. Armenia, that's one area that we're seeing again some of the rotation. So we'll point this out so you can see things a little bit better. This is South Carolina 97, Armenia here, and Armenia Road. This is an area where we're looking at the best potential, again, for seeing some rotation. So again, this is going to work its way over 321 here. If you live in this area of Armenia, again, the community of Armenia, we're kind of zoomed in closer now to York, Chester County here, just to the south of York. This will again move over Highway 321 and Lowry's here as we continue over the next 15 minutes. So let's just extend this up toward Lowry's here, and it will continue to work its way toward Lowry's as we approach around 3:18. That's about the time frame as we put this moving off to the northeast around 25 miles per hour as it will be working its way over 321 here about the next 15 to 20 minutes, and then eventually working its way a little bit more to the southeast corner of York County. So again, if you're just joining us, we're zoomed in close to Chester County, Chester and York County under a tornado warning. That will continue here, and you can see that at the bottom of your screen until 3:30. Armenia is the area that we're zoomed in on the closest, where we have that rotation that we're seeing on Doppler radar indicated. Again, these are going to be rain-wrapped, quick spin-up tornadoes that will quickly touch down and could cause some damage here along South Carolina 97 around the Armenia area. So we'll zoom that area back out just a little bit more so you can see things a little bit wider here. And as you can see, a wider view. Again, most of the rotation is going to happen just a little bit further north of Chester over toward the Lowry's area. So those are the areas that, again, we're kind of seeing the best rotation for right now. But again, moving over the 321 area here as we go into about the next 15 minutes. Eventually, this could work its way toward Lowry's School of Community Building. That would be one area that you may see this moving over. But as far as the areas that this is moving over right now, again, Armenia Road, South Carolina number 9. That's right around New Hope United Methodist Church or the West Chester Baptist Church there, the White Lightning area. If you're right around that area there, Armenia Road, that's where we're seeing, again, some of the best rotation. It's beginning to move a little further away from Wilkesburg as well as Baton Rouge. So, again, we'll widen out the view and just put on a storm track as this will continue to work its way a little bit more toward the Rock Hill area. And again, it's moving off to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So as we put that time frame for you just to kind of know about where we're seeing that rotation, and then we extend it up a little bit more toward Rock Hill, Fort Mill area, even over toward the Indian Land area. This will, again, continue to work its way over Lowry's here over the next few minutes, but then as we continue up toward about 350, the Rock Hill area, it will be moving over you just before 4 o'clock. So this is the time frame a lot of kids are getting out of school right now. Parents are going to pick up their kids, so we want to keep everybody safe as far as knowing what's going on. So it's a very difficult situation here as you may have school buses that are letting out of school right now or getting ready to let out of school. This is a better situation just to keep the kids at school and to take cover here if you're in the Lowry's area. So we continue to put on a track here as this is moving off I-77, and as it will continue to work its way toward the Rock Hill area again around 350, it will eventually work its way more toward Indialand around 415 and eventually more toward Weddington around 430. Now, it may not keep that rotation the entire time, but we are going to have to keep a close watch on that just to see if that rotation could continue. So what I'm looking at, again, in these areas here that we're talking about is where we could have, again, maybe some rotation right around some schools. So we're zooming into the Lowry's area here. And right around 97 Armenia area, again, this is where we're seeing, again, Quinn Road and right around Burris Road. So Quinn and Armenia Road, that's an area where we're seeing some rotation in North Chester School. So North Chester School is right in this area, right around Burris Road and Quinn Road. So that's the concern there. North Chester School, where folks need to be seeking shelter inside the school, not releasing kids from school right here. This is where you need to seek shelter, but it's a very dangerous situation here because of parents maybe picking up kids from school or, again, school buses getting ready to be released from school. Armenia Road here, Quinn Road and Burris Road, we're zoomed in very close right now to Chester County. And again, right up to our north here, this is York County. So this is right around portions of York County and Chester County. Here's the Lowry's area. We're continuing to see some rotation here right around Quinn Road. That's where that concern is for rotation. So you need to seek shelter, interior part of a building or the house that you're at, away from windows so you can be away from any flying debris. We've also got meteorologist Rachel Coulter as well, keeping a close watch on anything. And Rachel, feel free to speak up anytime if there's anything that you see or if you want to talk about some of the details there. But yet North Chester School, that's an area just looking at right around the Lowry's area that kind of a concern there. And this is also near B&S Farms and Saddle Shop. That's right off of Armenia Road there. WBT Radio has, I think, you know, maybe a radio signal out of that area too, or kind of the radio broadcaster out of there. And again, North Chester School, that's right off of Quinn Road and Armenia Road. And that's an area where it's just very concerning there, where we're seeing that rotation moving maybe right over that school area, again, just to the north of Armenia and around the Lowry's area. So, Rachel, any updates that you've seen as well? Haven't seen any updates coming in from the National Weather Service. Again, we're probably not going to get much as far as confirmation on anything because this is going to be rain wrapped.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not seeing any reports, so that's the good news there. But what I do want to mention too, and we've been talking about the fact that we've got school letting out around this time, parents trying to pick up the kids, maybe in school buses trying to take those routes. If you're in those areas where the tornado warning is in effect, definitely going to want to avoid travel. It's going to be safer to stay where you are, make sure that you're in a sheltered building. But also, these storms are just going to continue to make their way towards the east right around the time that we get towards the evening commute. Could impact the interstates. These are things that we're going to want to pay attention to as these storms continue to work their way to the east. So what I'm showing you on your screen right now, a zoomed out view of what we have across the area. You can see rain from Boone, so from the mountains through the foothills down into the Piedmont, Charlotte, filled in with rain at this time. But where we have the severe weather right now is in South Carolina, and you can see multiple tornado warnings in effect. The one that's in effect locally, of course, we'll zoom back in just in case you're just now tuning in. I do want to at least give you an updated look at that tornado warning that is just on the edge of Chester. This includes portions of Chester Chester and York County, South Carolina, moving to the north and east at 25 miles per hour. And of course, this is radar indicated rotation. This is going to go until 3:30. So it is 3:15 right now. We have 15 minutes left on this warning that was initiated right around the Baton Rouge community. This is continuing to make its way off towards the north and east. So definitely avoid travel along 321. Jason was listing out some of the schools and the churches in that area just a moment ago. That'll certainly want to make sure that you're in the innermost part of your home, away from any windows. It's okay if you don't have a basement, just make sure in the lowermost, innermost part of the home and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, especially if we do end up seeing a tornado touch down. That could certainly cause some damage, and we want to make sure that we're away from windows in that regard. And once again, what we'll do is track this out in time, give you some additional ETAs. And because this is moving to the north and east at about 25 miles an hour, I'm going to go ahead and just line 321 with this. Pushes as far north and east as I-77, and you can see those ETAs on your screen. 318 for Lowry's. Lewis, we're looking at about 332, even down towards Leslie, about 359. So right around 4 o'clock is when you can see some impacts there. And if I edit this ETA tracker, I'm going to actually put an arrow all the way out towards I-77 just to give a better idea of when we could anticipate if this holds together. Of course, may not. In fact, it's not looking as impressive as it did when that warning was first issued, but this certainly could still cause issues. Certainly, we could still see a tornado produced from this storm. And if this holds together, moving to the north and east at this speed, that's going to put it right around 4 o'clock, where it impacts through York County down I-77. So think about the Rock Hill and Fort Mill areas that could see some impacts from that along I-77 if it holds together. Right now, I'm going through some of our tower cameras, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that up for you. I'm going to pull up one of the tower cameras that we have. So bear with me as I find that screen for you. And this is the view from the Comporium building out towards Rock Hill. So you can see just rain here. Most areas just seeing rain. May hear some isolated rumbles of thunder. I know coming into work earlier in Charlotte this afternoon, right around at that 2:20, 2:30 time frame, heard some rumbles of thunder. So far that's all we're seeing. However, just to the south and west, we have a tornado warned storm, and we're still going to have the potential for these storms to produce damaging wind gusts today. We've got some really heavy rain that's going to be setting up shop, especially in our central and southern counties through the evening commute. So flash flooding is going to be a concern. So we're going to want to make sure that we can hear alerts for that regard. And of course, those brief tornadoes also going to be a possibility as we have that severe threat, the highest from about I-85 and points southward through the rest of the afternoon hours and into the evening. So picking up the kids from school, driving home from work tonight, even starting those dinner plans, it's around the time frame that we're really going to want to make sure that we can hear and respond to any warning. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this view out of Rock Hill. Again, just rain for now, but of course we do have that tornado warned storm just off to the south and west. There's a look at radar now to show you what we were just looking at. You can see from Statesville down towards Charlotte, just seeing really filling in of heavy rainfall, some thunder and lightning at times, and then the tornado warnings are off to the south. So it does look like they trimmed back this warning, which makes sense. This is mainly now the threat right along 321 between McConnell's down towards Chester, and that's where we're going to want to avoid getting out on the roadways. Let's look at velocity and see if we have any rotation there. I know it was around Baton Rouge where it looked the most impressive, and I'll kind of scan this back in time. That's where they ended up issuing that warning right there, and that was just before 3 p.m. As this continues to work off towards the north and east, the area of concern is going to be right around Lowry. So if you're listening in from Lowry's, if you've got some friends or family out that way, make sure that they are tuning in and staying in their safe shelter. And of course, if power goes out, or if you are in your innermost part of your home and you don't have a TV per se in that closet or anything like that, if you have our First Alert weather app, you can watch us live on there as well. Coverage cuts off, or even if you can't get near your laptop or your TV at this time, you can still watch us live from there. But if you're from 321 up towards Hardin Strait Road, Colony Road, Lowry's Road, West Chapel Road, up towards 190, 909, Perkins Drive, those are the spots that'll want to make sure that you're in your safe shelter at this time. I know, Jason, I'm going to continue to scan some of these tower cameras. I'm going to look for more reports, see if we're getting any power outages in this area. And in the meantime, I'm going to toss things back over to you and see if you have any updates.
Yeah, we also have one of our reporters out there right now, Morgan Knoll, and she'll be able to maybe give us a firsthand experience. Let me go over everything real quick. Just looking at the latest update from the National Weather Service, and they're expecting to let this expire at 3:30. So we're going to stay with this tornado warning until 3:30. Again, that's been issued for Chester and York. The concern is we could still see more active weather here with severe weather potential as we go into our later afternoon and even into our evening hours. So as we put on a storm track on this tornado warning, the areas that it may continue to move toward, again, may not be under a tornado warning, but you still, again, could have some of this rotation moving over you eventually. We'll see if we can take down the banner here in just a second, but Rock Hill, again, moving over your area as we approach around 350, 408 for the Fort Mill area, Indian Land as we approach around 450, Monroe as we approach around 5 o'clock. So zooming in even closer, again, Lowry's and McConnell's there. That's the area that we're just talking about. So I'll go back here so you can see some of this arrival time. Matthews around 445, Monroe around 456, and over toward the Clear Creek area around 506. So again, it may not be a tornado warning extended all the way into your area, but the area that was tornado warned will reach you at those times. So as we continue here over the 4 and 5 o'clock hour, this will be something we'll be keeping a close watch on as well. So here's Highway 321, here's Lowry's, here's McConnell's, where we had that tornado warning until 3:30. Not seeing the rotation like what we maybe had just a little while ago, but still seeing some broad rotation here right around the Lowry's area and Highway 321. And as we work a little bit closer, here's North Chester School, where we are keeping a close watch on that. Was moving right over the North Chester School area. Chester Catawba Regional here. So this is right around where we've had some of that rotation showing through. A little bit further to the north, Brattonsville Historic District also seeing some wide rotation here along Highway 321. So this is York County, this is Chester County. So we're right at the Chester-York County line. As we widen it out just a little bit more, this is about 13 miles away from I-77, 13 miles away from the Rock Hill area. And again, our Morgan Newell has been out in this area. She's had the heavy rain moving through. So let's see if we can get a latest update from our reporter, Morgan Newell. And Morgan, how is it out there? What are you experiencing and where are you located right now?
Hey, Jason, I hope you can hear me. I am looking at a lot of rain. Actually, pretty good amount of cars are over here. I'm in the Rock Hill Catawba area, kind of in between the two of those cities. And again, I'm seeing a lot of rain. The parking lot I'm actually at is flooding just a little bit from the amount of rain that we've been getting. I probably saw it start happening about an hour ago is when I kind of posted on Twitter that rain started, and it started as a drizzle, and now it's been kind of a steady downpour since then. Now, I just actually found out because of that tornado warning that we have right now, Clover Schools is delaying middle school dismissal. So they are going to hold those middle schoolers until that tornado warning goes away. So if your child is in Clover Schools and they are a middle school student, you might want to check with their school to find out when they might be getting dismissed. But otherwise, like I said, we are really just seeing a lot of rain. Earlier, I heard some thunder. I saw a lot of lightning, just bright flashes of lightning, but I have not seen that in the last 30 minutes or so. Really just that rain kind of still coming down over here so far.
Great, Morgan. Thank you for the update. And just repeating again what you were saying, so you said Clover Schools, they were just going to delay releasing the students, it sounds like. So good to know there. And again, the National Weather Service just saying that, yes, the signature doesn't have the tight rotation that it had earlier. So they are going to let the tornado warning expire, we believe, at 3:30. So that's still in about the next 5 minutes, but it's still, again, we still have that tornado warning. So here's Clover, where Morgan was just talked about, where they're keeping the kids in class in his school right now just to be safe. Here's York, and again, we're in New York County. This is Highway 321. Most of the activity with that rotation is happening just a little further south of York County, a little bit more into Chester County. So we'll go back to kind of a wider view here just to point things out so you can see what we're talking about. Here's Charlotte, here's York, here's Chester. We've got this again headed a little bit more into York, far northern Lancaster County, over Indian Land, and up into portions of Mecklenburg and Union County around the Matthews area as we go from about the 4 to 5 o'clock hour. So even though this tornado warning may expire at 3:30 here in about the next 5 minutes, we're still going to keep a close watch on this. Even if we go off air eventually, we're going to still keep a close watch on this because there still could be, again, a brief spin up tornado. And again, still seeing some broad rotation right now between McConnell's and Chester along Highway 321. It's moving just a little further away from McConnell's now, but Lowry's, it's still over your area. So where we're seeing that rotation, again, just to kind of show you some of the roadways that we're talking about, Rocky Creek Road, Road, over toward Armenia Road. We were talking about that earlier. True Road, Cameron Road, Lowry's Road, and where that intersects with Highway 321. These are the areas, again, just to the north of Lowry's is where we have a little bit better chance for seeing some of that rotation right now. It is a little broad rotation, though, as we work away a little further to the kind of northeast of Lowry's right now. So as we work away a little bit more toward West Chapel Road and over toward Brattonsville Road and Love Street, this is more toward McConnell's. This is where you also see some broad rotation as well. So what we're looking at is velocity. So what we're looking at is where, again, we can see some rotation. So the radar site that we're looking at, again, is coming a little bit more toward the Charlotte or from the Charlotte area here, and you can kind of see those scans coming every so often. And so that's just where we can see some of that rotation. This is, again, a lot of heavy rain that's been moving through. We've had a lot of lightning. You've probably heard the thunder as well. But again, along with that, we're seeing some rotation in the atmosphere, and that's where we could have that brief spin-up tornado, again, between Lowry's and the McConnell's area here. Again, we're staying with this tornado warning until 3:30, and unless if they continue to extend it. North Chester School, we're keeping a close watch on that. Again, over toward Chester, Catawba Regional, and over toward McConnell's, the Brattonsville area, that's where we were kind of seeing Brattonsville Historic District, where we're seeing again some of that broad rotation. So these are some of the areas we'll point out. Here's Brattonsville Historic District, kind of hard to see, but North Chester School just a little further south. And as we look toward Lowry's Road here, Highway 321, this is where we're seeing some of that rotation. This is South Carolina 322 here, right around Orr Road, and that's where we still see some rotation that is around at this hour. Again, Lowry's Community Park, so this is kind of the area we're talking about, close to Old York Road, or also known as South Carolina 909, Lowry School Community Center, over toward the Zion Presbyterian Church off of Old York Road. These are some of the areas that this will be moving over you. And Old York Road, where that meets up with Armenia Road, just kind of to the east of 321 First Baptist Church of Lowry's. That's another area where we're seeing some of that rotation right now as well. So again, we're going to keep a close watch on that for you. But as we zoom in a little bit closer here, Highway 321, Lowry's Road, and over toward Arnold Drive. That's where we're also seeing. This is also close to the Lowry's Animal Hospital that's off of Highway 321 there in the Lowry's area. Again, as we work away between Lowry's and over toward portions of McConnell's, that's where we're still seeing some of that rotation over toward the Cameron Road area. So again, before we go, we've also got meteorologist Rachel Coulter. And Rachel, anything new that you've seen, any updates that you have?
Is just about to expire, and I know you had mentioned it, Jason. I'm looking at the chat as well. They do look like they're just going to continue to let this expire. There's no mention of extending this at this time because the rotation's not as strong as it was when they initially issued that tornado warning. But I do want to give that just some ETAs in terms of when we could see some impacts down the road, because this is going to continue to be a concern even through the evening commute and even a little beyond the evening commute as well. So right now, mainly just seeing the rain, and then of course we've got the tornado warnings through many portions of South Carolina at this time, just to the west of I-77. So of course that tornado warning may not be there here in the next minute or so, but if this storm holds together, still could certainly cause some gusty winds and maybe even that brief spin up tornado potential as it approaches I-77 just shy of 4 p.m. And there's another line of storms there to the south that has that tornado warning on it. Of course, the tornado warning, it doesn't go that far to the east to include I-77, but that segment of storms will need to be watched nonetheless, and that'll be in central and southern Chester County in between about 4:40 and 5 o'clock tonight when many people are heading out. And then zooming out even more, there's still some more storms out to our west that we're going to be watching, tracking eastward over time. So that could bring us some local impacts around 8-9 o'clock tonight. So we still have several hours here where we're going to want to make sure that we're staying weather aware. If you haven't already on that First Alert Weather app, you can turn your notifications on. That way, if a warning is issued, you're going to know about it, and we'll have live coverage for you. And of course, we're going to have updates on WBTV as well, radar, hour-by-hour updates, because we have the first alert in place for the likelihood of rain, this potential for severe weather tonight, another first alert in place as we head into your Tuesday night, or Wednesday night, I should say, and Thursday morning. Coverage won't be this impressive, but certainly any storms that do form in that environment will need to be watched. It does look like they have let that tornado warning expire. The time now is 3:30. So I've been joined with meteorologist Jason Myers. We're going to go ahead and return you to regularly scheduled programming. And if we have any further concerns, we'll let you know about them. Stay weather aware this evening.